Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep into the world of Slink today.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically, how to seriously power up your sleep.
Hmm.
And we're doing it with some help from this source here called
Right.
The Power of Sleep. Improve sleep quality and avoid mistakes.
Yeah, this one's got a lot of really good stuff in it.
Yeah, it's really packed with useful tips.
Yeah.
You know, some of the things in here were pretty surprising to me.
Oh, really? Like what?
Like how those weekend sleep-ins that we all love so much
Mm-hmm.
can totally mess up your body's natural rhythm,
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
that circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
So we're going to cover all sorts of stuff today,
Okay.
from little tweaks you can make to your sleep environment to understanding those sneaky sleep mistakes that we're all making.
Right.
Yeah, so
It's interesting, how much we're learning about sleep these days
mm,
and how it impacts our health and well-being.
yeah.
This source really digs deep into all the consequences of poor sleep. And it's not just about feeling tired.
Oh, absolutely.
There's way more to it than that.
We've all been there, like dragging ourselves through the day after a
Mhm.
bad night.
Right.
But, I think this source makes a really strong case for the link between
Yeah.
poor sleep and a weakened immune system.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know about you, but getting sick all the time
Mm-hmm.
is not really high on my list of priorities.
Yeah, it's definitely something to avoid if you can.
Right. And it's not just about avoiding sniffles either.
No, it's much bigger than that.
This source actually points to some research
Right.
that shows a connection between not getting enough sleep and serious health problems,
Mm-hmm.
like heart disease and diabetes.
Yeah, chronic sleep deprivation can really take a toll on your body.
It's true.
It's not a luxury,
Right.
Good sleep is an essential part of a healthy lifestyle.
Absolutely.
It really is.
It's like we're all walking around with this superpower,
Yeah,
and we're not even using it.
we're neglecting it, for
Yeah.
sure.
Right. And speaking of powers, this source gets into
Yeah.
the whole science of sleep cycles
Oh, yeah, that's fascinating stuff.
and how it's not just about how many hours you're in bed,
Right.
but the quality of those hours.
It's about getting into those deep sleep cycles.
Exactly.
The restorative sleep.
So tell me about these sleep cycles.
Yeah, so basically, throughout the night,
Uh-huh.
we go through these different stages of sleep,
Okay.
from light sleep to deep sleep, and even REM sleep, where we dream.
Wow.
Each stage has a different purpose,
Okay.
and they all play an important role in our physical and mental recovery.
So how do we actually make sure that we're getting enough of that deep sleep?
Yeah,
Because let's be real, most of us are not sleep scientists.
that's true. Most of us aren't.
Oh.
But that's where the power of sleep comes in.
Okay.
It gives us all these practical strategies.
Okay, great.
And, we're going to talk about the most important ones today.
Awesome.
But let's start with the foundation,
Okay.
a consistent sleep schedule.
We hear this one all the time, right?
We do.
But it's important. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on the weekends.
Right. It's about consistency.
I have to admit, I am so guilty of sleeping in on Saturdays.
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of us are.
Is it really that big of a deal?
It might seem harmless,
Yeah.
but those weekend sleep-ins can actually throw off your body's natural sleep-wake cycle,
Oh, okay.
your circadian rhythm.
So that's that internal clock that regulates everything.
Exactly.
okay.
Think of it like a finely tuned orchestra.
Okay.
Every instrument needs to come in at the right time for the symphony to work.
So even if I'm catching up on sleep on the weekends,
Right?
I'm actually messing up my body's internal orchestra.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
I see the problem.
And that can lead to feeling groggy and disoriented,
Oh, yeah.
even after a long sleep.
So no more sleeping in till noon for me.
Well, maybe not every weekend,
Okay.
but try to keep it consistent as much as possible. The power of sleep really emphasizes consistency is key.
Yeah.
It's about training your body
Right.
to expect sleep at a certain time, just like an athlete trains for a marathon.
So what are some of the things we can do to kind of create a good routine before bed
Oh, yeah.
to make it easier to fall asleep?
There are a lot of things you can do.
I'm thinking like, winding down
Right, that's a great place to start.
and stuff like that.
The Power of Sleep has a whole section on creating a relaxing bedtime routine.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it sounds simple,
Okay.
but it's really about intentionally signaling to your body that it's time to sleep.
I have a confession.
Oh, what's that?
I am so guilty of scrolling on my phone in bed.
Oh, yeah, I think we all do that sometimes.
It's like my brain just won't shut off.
I know what you mean.
But I'm guessing that the Power of Sleep probably doesn't recommend that.
Well, it definitely talks about screen time before bed.
Okay.
And it's not just about the blue light either,
Okay.
although that is a big factor.
Right.
We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Okay.
But it's also about the mental stimulation. When we're on social media or checking email right before bed,
Right.
we're telling our brains to stay awake.
It's like trying to meditate at a rock concert.
Exactly. Your mind is just not going to quiet down.
Right.
So the power of sleep suggests creating a buffer zone
Okay.
between your busy day and bedtime,
Got it.
a time to unwind and disconnect.
So maybe switching to a good old-fashioned book
That's a great idea.
instead of my phone.
Yeah.
I'm all for that.
The source has a bunch of other ideas too,
Okay, cool.
like taking a warm bath, listening to relaxing music.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
But before we get too into the routine stuff, let's talk about
Sure.
the bedroom itself,
Okay.
the sleep environment.
The sleep sanctuary.
The power of sleep gets pretty specific here.
It does. Yeah,
Oh,
one of
what-
the things that surprised me was the ideal bedroom temperature.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you know it's between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit?
Whoa, that's way cooler than I thought.
Yeah. It's a little chilly for some people.
I might need to have a talk with my partner about that one,
Yeah, you might need to compromise.
because I'm always freezing.
But there's actually a scientific reason for the cooler temperature.
Okay.
When we sleep, our body temperature naturally drops,
Uh-huh.
and a cooler room helps with that.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's light and noise.
Right.
Darkness is so important for melatonin production, that sleep hormone.
Right. I used to live next to some really noisy neighbors,
Oh, no.
and investing in some good earplugs was a lifesaver.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Blocking out those distractions made such a difference in my sleep.
Absolutely.
So important.
Creating a truly restful space is about minimizing distractions,
Yeah.
both visual and auditory.
The power of sleep
Mm-hmm.
even suggests blackout curtains and white noise machines.
Yeah, those can be really helpful.
Okay, so we've talked about the sleep schedule,
Right.
the routine, and the environment.
Mm-hmm.
What else does this source have in store for us?
Well, we can't talk about sleep without talking about screen time.
Here we go.
And this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay, hit me with it.
So, we all know that screens are bad for sleep, but a lot of people don't know why.
I'm one of those people.
So, the power of sleep really breaks down the science behind this.
Okay.
And it all comes down to blue light.
Okay, so blue light, what's the big deal?
Right. It's just light, right?
Yeah, we're exposed to light all the time.
Well, not all light is created equal.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Blue light is particularly strong
Okay.
in the wavelength that are emitted from our devices,
Okay.
our phones, our tablets, our computers.
Got it.
And this blue light actually suppresses the production of melatonin,
Ah, okay.
which is the hormone that tells our bodies it's time to sleep.
This is like tricking our brains into thinking it's still daytime.
Exactly.
No wonder I can't fall asleep after an hour of Instagram.
Right.
What else did it say?
Well, the power of sleep actually cites studies that show that even short bursts of blue light in the evening can delay the onset of REM sleep,
Wow.
which is so important for our brains,
Okay.
for memory and cognitive function.
So put the phone down an hour before bed.
At least an hour, yeah.
That's easier said than done
I know it is.
in our world.
But the source has some really good tips for managing screen time in the evening.
Oh,
Things like dimming the brightness,
okay.
using blue light filters,
Got it.
and even setting digital curfews.
Oh, I like that. Digital curfews.
Yeah, just create some boundaries around your tech use.
No screens after 9 p.m.
That's a good rule.
I like that.
It's all about finding what works for you.
So we talked about the blue light. What about other things we consume?
Oh,
that mess with our sleep.
Like food and drinks?
Yeah. I'm thinking caffeine alcohol.
Those are two big ones.
I've definitely fallen into that trap
Oh, yeah?
of thinking a glass of wine before bed will help me sleep.
It's a common misconception.
So that's a myth.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the truth.
Well, alcohol might make you feel drowsy at first,
Okay.
but it actually disrupts your sleep later in the night.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it messes with those sleep cycles we were talking about.
So no more nightcaps.
Well, it depends. The power of sleep emphasizes moderation and timing.
Okay.
If you do enjoy an alcoholic drink, just make sure to have it several hours before bedtime.
So your body has time to process it.
Exact.
Okay, and then there's caffeine.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a bit of a coffee addict myself.
Me too.
I've definitely learned the hard way
Yeah.
that a late afternoon latte
Uh-huh.
will keep me up at night.
Caffeine can stay in your system for hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that afternoon pick-me-up could be keeping you up.
Wow.
The power of sleep suggests paying attention to your body
Okay.
and how it responds to caffeine.
That makes sense.
Some people are more sensitive than others.
Right.
It's about finding what works for you.
Okay, so we've covered a lot.
We have.
But there are two more things I want to touch on from the power of sleep.
Okay, what are those?
Natural light and exercise.
Those are both so important.
Yeah, they both play a crucial role
Yeah.
in regulating our sleep-wake cycle,
Or circadian rhythm.
our circadian rhythm.
Remember that internal orchestra?
Yes.
Natural light and exercise are like the conductors,
I love that analogy.
keeping everything in sync.
Okay, so getting enough sunlight during the day is important,
It's crucial,
even if we're stuck inside
especially if you're stuck
at
inside.
a desk job.
Yeah, exposure to natural light, especially in the morning, helps to set your circadian rhythm.
So that makes it easier to fall asleep at night.
Exactly.
The power of sleep
Uh.
even suggests taking a walk during your lunch break
Oh, that's a good idea.
or working near a window.
Yeah, or even using a light therapy box
Okay, cool.
to mimic sunlight.
And what about exercise? Does it matter when you work out?
It can.
Yeah, okay.
The power of sleep says that exercise is good for sleep,
Uh-huh.
but intense workouts too close to bedtime can make it harder to fall asleep.
So no late-night gym sessions.
Yeah. Well, it depends.
Okay.
You just have to find the right balance.
Right.
The source suggests aiming for at least 30 minutes
Okay,
of moderate intensity exercise most days of the week.
got it.
But avoid anything too strenuous in the hours leading up to bed.
Makes sense.
A gentle yoga flow or an evening walk
Those sound nice.
can actually help you to unwind.
Perfect. So we've covered a lot of ground here,
We have.
from why sleep is important to how to create a good sleep routine
Right.
and a good sleep environment.
Mm-hmm.
But now comes the fun part.
What's that?
Identifying those sneaky sleep mistakes we're all guilty of.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got a few more surprises
Okay.
from the power of sleep that you won't want to miss.
I'm going to bring on the sleep mistakes.
Stay tuned.
All right, so let's talk about those sneaky sleep saboteurs.
Okay.
The things that are messing with our sleep without us even realizing it.
Hit me with it. I'm ready to face my sleep demons.
Okay, well, first let's revisit that inconsistent sleep schedule we talked about earlier.
Well,
You know how even small changes in our sleep-wake times can disrupt our circadian rhythm?
right, like jet lag without the travel.
Exactly.
But what about people who work night shifts or have your irregular schedules?
That's a great question. And the power of sleep actually addresses that.
Oh, good.
It offers some strategies for shift workers and people with non-traditional schedules.
Okay.
It's all about working with your circadian rhythm, not against it.
Makes sense.
So, for example, using bright light therapy during work hours,
Okay.
and then creating a dark and quiet sleep environment during the day
Oh,
can
interesting.
help to reset your internal clock.
So it's like tricking your body into thinking it's nighttime,
Exactly.
even when it's not.
All right, what's next on the sleep mistake hit list?
Okay, what else we got?
Let's talk about late night eating.
Ooh, yeah.
I have a feeling this one might resonate with some listeners.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah, I'm a midnight snacker myself.
But I thought eating before bed was supposed to make you sleepy.
Well, that's not entirely true.
Oh, right.
The power of sleep explains that eating a heavy meal too close to bedtime can actually interfere with sleep.
I see.
When we eat, our bodies kick into digestion mode,
Right.
which can make it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep.
So it's not just what we eat, but when we eat.
Exactly.
Okay,
The source recommends finishing your last meal at least 2 to 3 hours before bed
Got it.
to give your body time to digest.
What if you get hungry?
If you're really craving something late at night,
Yeah.
opt for a light snack, like a handful of almonds or a piece of fruit.
Okay, good to know.
Now, what about napping?
Okay, I'm a big fan of naps.
Me too.
Like maybe a little too big of a fan.
Yeah, napping can be tricky.
Okay.
The power of sleep explains that a short power nap,
Okay.
20 to 30 minutes max,
Okay.
can actually be beneficial.
Oh, really?
It can boost alertness and improve cognitive function.
So it's like a quick recharge.
Exactly.
Not a full system reboot.
Right.
I like that.
But longer naps, or naps that are too close to bedtime, can disrupt your sleep cycle and make it harder to fall asleep at night.
So timing is key.
Exactly.
And keep it short.
The power of sleep even suggests setting an alarm
Okay, good tip.
to prevent those naps from turning into sleep marathons.
No more accidental 3-hour naps for me.
Now, remember that confession you made earlier about scrolling through your phone in bed?
Oh, yeah.
I think we can all relate to that.
It's a problem.
It is, yeah. The power of sleep actually explains why our brains just don't shut off
But,
when we're glued to our devices.
okay. I'm all ears.
And it's not just the blue light we talked about earlier.
So there's more to it.
It actually comes down to our brain's reward system.
Oh, interesting.
When we engage with social media, news feeds, emails,
Uh-huh.
our brains release dopamine,
Okay.
which is a feel-good chemical.
I've heard of dopamine.
Yeah, it makes us crave more.
So like a reward.
It's the same reward pathway that's activated by food, sex, and drugs.
Wow, so we're literally getting a dopamine hit every time we check our phones?
Pretty much, yeah.
No wonder it's so addictive.
And because these devices are constantly pinging us with notifications,
All right.
we get stuck in this cycle of checking, scrolling, and craving more.
The Power of Sleep calls this techno-interference.
I like that term.
And it makes sense, right? Our brains are wired to engage with information.
Right.
And that constant stimulation makes it really hard to relax and fall asleep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's the solution?
Yeah, how do we break free?
Well, the Power of Sleep offers some really helpful strategies.
Okay, I'm ready.
The first step is awareness.
Okay,
Just recognizing that your phone use is interfering with your sleep.
I think I'm there.
That's great.
I'm officially aware.
The next step is setting boundaries around your technology use.
Like digital curfews.
exactly.
No screens after 9 p.m.
Perfect.
I'm committing to that.
And here's another great strategy from the Power of Sleep.
Okay.
Create a digital detox zone in your bedroom.
What does that mean?
It means charging your phone outside of your bedroom at night,
Oh, okay.
so you're not tempted to reach for it.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly.
I like that.
It's about creating a sanctuary for sleep, a place where you can truly rest and recharge.
Free from distractions.
Now, before we wrap up this section on sleep mistakes,
Okay.
I want to circle back to something we mentioned earlier about sleep cycles.
Yes, remind me what those are again.
So the Power of Sleep explains that throughout the night, we cycle through different stages of sleep,
Right.
each with its own unique characteristics and benefits.
I'm ready to learn.
There are 4 main stages.
Okay.
Stage 1 is light sleep,
Uh-huh.
where we're kind of drifting in and out of consciousness.
Okay.
Stage 2 is a deeper sleep, where our heart rate and breathing slow down.
Got it.
Stage 3 is the deepest sleep, also known as slow wave sleep.
Okay.
This is where our bodies repair and restore themselves.
That's the good stuff.
And finally, there's REM sleep.
Where we dream.
Exactly. And this is also where we consolidate memories.
Wow, so much happens while we sleep.
It really does.
So how do we make sure we're getting enough of each stage, especially that deep restorative sleep?
Well, that's where those healthy sleep habits we've been talking about come in.
Okay.
Things like a consistent sleep schedule,
Uh-huh.
a relaxing bedtime routine,
Right.
and a conducive sleep environment.
Got it.
They all contribute to healthy sleep cycles.
And avoiding those sleep mistakes we've been discussing.
Exactly. No more late night eating, no more marathon naps, and definitely no more scrolling through your phone in bed.
I'm ready to break those bad habits.
It's all about setting yourself up for sleep success.
This has been so insightful.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that.
I feel like I'm finally starting to understand the science behind sleep
That's great.
and how to actually improve my own sleep routine.
And remember, the Power of Sleep emphasizes that everyone's sleep needs are different.
Right, of course.
What works for one person might not work for another.
So it's about finding what works best for you.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From the importance of sleep quality.
To practical strategies for creating a good sleep routine and environment. But now comes the part where we put it all together. Okay. And talk about what this all means for our listeners.
Yes, this is where the real magic happens.
I like that.
Empowering you to take control of your sleep and experience the amazing benefits that come with it.
Unlocking that hidden superpower.
Exactly. And the best part is, it's a superpower available to everyone.
That's a good point.
The Power of Sleep reminds us that better sleep isn't just about feeling more rested.
Right.
It's about improving our physical and mental health, boosting our mood, enhancing our cognitive function,
Wow.
and even increasing our lifespan.
Those are some serious benefits.
They are.
I'm definitely motivated to prioritize my sleep now.
That's great.
But, change doesn't happen overnight.
You're right. It takes time to build new habits and break old patterns.
Exactly.
And the Power of Sleep doesn't advocate for a complete sleep overhaul.
Okay.
It's about making small, sustainable changes that add up over time. So start with 1 or 2 strategies and go from there.
Exactly. Progress over perfection.
I like that.
Even small steps in the right direction can make a big difference
So true.
in your sleep quality and your overall well-being.
Okay. I'm feeling inspired and empowered.
That's awesome.
What about you? What are you taking away from our deep dive today?
For me, it's the reminder that sleep isn't a luxury, it's a necessity.
I agree.
It's as essential to our well-being as eating a healthy diet and exercising regularly.
Right.
And just like those other healthy habits,
Yeah.
it takes effort and intentionality to cultivate good sleep hygiene.
The Power of Sleep really drives home the point that sleep is an investment
Absolutely.
in ourselves, and it pays off in every area of our lives.
It really does.
So before we wrap up this episode, I want to hear from our listeners.
Yeah.
What are your biggest sleep challenges? What strategies have you tried?
Good questions.
And what are you willing to commit to changing starting tonight?
We're all on this sleep journey together, and we can learn so much from each other's experiences.
That's true.
So share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's create a supportive community dedicated to unlocking the power of sleep.
All right, so we've covered so much today.
We have.
From the science of sleep cycles to all those sneaky sleep mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And we've learned a bunch of strategies from the power of sleep.
Right.
Like creating a good bedtime routine and making sure your sleep environment is good.
Yeah.
And taming that screen time.
It's a lot to think about.
But before we send you off to dreamland,
Right.
we want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
Something to kind of ponder as you go on your journey for better sleep.
I like that.
You know what really stuck with me from this source?
What's that?
Is how much it focuses on you taking control.
Oh.
Like, it's not just a set of rules.
Right.
It's about figuring out your own sleep needs.
Yeah.
And making choices that put sleep first.
It's about taking ownership of your sleep.
Exactly. And it's an investment in yourself.
Absolutely.
And your health, your well-being, your whole life.
Your best self.
Yeah. So as you go about your day, think about this.
Okay.
What's one thing you could do differently to show your sleep some love?
I love that.
Could it be setting a digital curfew like we talked about?
That's a good one.
Or maybe creating a really relaxing bedtime routine?
Yeah.
Or even getting those blackout curtains?
Ooh, those can be a game changer.
Or maybe it's something simpler,
Right.
like paying attention to how certain foods and drinks affect your sleep,
Yeah.
or really being mindful of your sleep environment.
All good things to consider.
The point is you have the power
You do.
to make choices that lead to better sleep.
And even small changes can make a big difference.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the power of sleep, remember this: you are the architect of your sleep.
Oh, I like that.
You've got the tools and the knowledge to create a sleep sanctuary
Right.
that takes care of your body, mind, and soul.
Sweet dreams, everyone.
Sweet dreams.